Welcome to Take a Break, Take a Breath for Friday, July 3rd. I'm Rick Boyer, the pastor of Prospect Presbyterian Church, and Take a Break, Take a Breath is an invitation to pause in your day and to breathe and center yourself in God who made you and loves you and knows you better than you know yourself. Each day we look at one of the Psalms, and we've been working our way through the Psalms. We're up to Psalm 51. Psalm 51 is one of the more famous Psalms. There are many familiar verses if you read the whole thing in your own reading today. Psalm 51 is one of the 7 penitential Psalms, and it's used during Lent and often on Ash Wednesday in churches that recognize and celebrate Ash Wednesday. It's often placed as a psalm that, the title often placed next to it in many Bibles is a Psalm of David after Nathan comes and confronts him about the affair he had with Bathsheba and how he kills Bathsheba's husband and then marries her. And so it is a confrontation in that way, and this is David's response. That's how it's set sometimes. The other possibility, though, is that it can be read in response to the story of the golden calf in the wilderness. And that story is one where while Moses is up on the mountain with God, the people convince Aaron and the other leaders to make a golden calf, and they worship it. And when Moses comes down and sees it, and God sees it, obviously there is great upset and anger and upheaval. Now what's true in this psalm and what's true in our faith is that our forgiveness isn't dependent on our confession, although that's a part of the process. It is dependent on God and on God's qualities of faithfulness and mercy and compassion. And that's the appeal of this psalm. The psalmist appeals to the character of God as someone who is merciful, as someone who is filled with steadfast love, and who has, literally in Hebrew, motherly compassion. So I chose for the verse, the opening verse, and there are so many that I could have chosen, but I chose the first one. Have mercy on me, O God, according to your steadfast love, according to your abundant mercy. Blot out my transgression. I invite you, during this time of being locked in or stay in place of physical distancing, we may have made some mistakes along the way in our houses. We might have gotten a little frustrated with family members, and we might be disappointed in ourselves. And yet God promises, because of God's steadfast love and because of God's abundant mercy and because of God's motherly compassion, God not only forgives us, but makes us new. Later in the text, the psalmist asks, create in me a clean heart, God, make me new. So I invite you to go to that place in your house where you can be alone and quiet, and close the door and settle into a chair and feel the support and strength and comfort of that chair. And then close your eyes and take some deep breaths. And as you breathe in the breath of God. And as you breathe out all that separates you from God. Breathe in the breath of life. Breathe out all that separates you from life. And as you breathe in, feel the anxieties, and as you keep breathing deeply, feel the anxieties and the worries and all of the things that you're thinking about, feel them calm down and be still. And imagine, because it's true, the peace and abundant mercy and steadfast love and motherly compassion of God is coming to you. Feel it like warm sunshine. And imagine that warm sunshine bringing relaxation and release to all the muscles in your body. Today, start with your feet. As the sun falls on your feet and your calves and your thighs, let them relax. Let the tensions melt away. Feel that warmth and sunshine as it falls on your stomach and your chest and your back. And as you feel that warmth, imagine the tensions melting away. Feel that warmth as it falls on your shoulders and your arms and your hands. And it brings release to the muscles in your shoulders and arms and hands. Feel that warmth as it falls on your neck, bringing peace and release to the muscles in your neck, and your head, and your forehead, and your face, and your jaw. The light and love and mercy and compassion of God falls on you. And in your mind's eye, go to a place that is private, where you and God can talk. Imagine there are 2 chairs. What does that room or that space look like? Is it dark or light? Is it large or small? What are the smells in that space? How do things sound? Is it a quiet space, or is it a space where voices echo? You hear God coming to you, and the 2 of you sit down together. God comes in God's abundant mercy and compassion and love, steadfast love, and offers an opening for you. God wants to make things new for you. So what is it that the 2 of you need to talk about so that God can create a clean heart for you? So that God's mercy and compassion would come to you. I'll be quiet now while the 2 of you talk. So then the time for the conversation comes to an end, and if it's not long enough, just hit pause. And the two of you say goodbye. And you watch as God leaves. And then you allow that image to fade away. And you imagine the space where you are, the room you're in right now. And when you have done so and you are ready, open your eyes. Well, that's take a break, take a breath for Friday, July 3rd. I always welcome feedback, and you can send it to rick@prospectchurch.org.